Let's begin with the latest political updates coming in from battleground Uttar Pradesh. There's been endless speculation on exactly where UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will contest from. Remember that a few weeks ago, he had confirmed that yes, he's going to be fighting in this assembly election as well, and made it clear that it is the BJP top brass that will take a decision on his seat. India Today has learned that the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister is likely to be fielded now from Ayodhya. In 2017, Yogi Adityanath had won from the Gorakhpur seat. A final decision on this will be taken after the BJP core committee meet that's going on for the last couple of days in the Delhi BJP headquarters. The BJP is expected to release its first list of candidates after January 14th. Sources have also told India Today that over 40 MLAs are likely to be dropped this time around. For the BJP, Ayodhya is a key seat. The Ram Mandir campaign in Ayodhya has become now the focus point for the Uttar Pradesh government. If the Chief Minister is fielded from Ayodhya, it would reinforce Yogi Adityanath as the face of the BJP's Hindutva ideology, as well as amplify the party's main plank in the coming elections. The BJP is also dealing with a massive revolt within the Uttar Pradesh unit. You've got another cabinet minister, Dara Singh Chauhan, this time again calling it quits with the BJP. This comes after Swami Prasad Maurya. So two top cabinet ministers have already chosen to dump the party. In all, 6 MLAs in the last 48 hours or so have chosen to leave the BJP. How exactly is the party dealing with this kind of a crisis and all-out rebellion? We break that down for you in this report.
Ahead of the high-stake election in Uttar Pradesh, 2 cabinet ministers have quit the BJP in the last 24 hours. On Wednesday, Dara Singh Chauhan became the second Yogi government minister to put in his papers.
इस प्रदेश के पिछड़े, दलित, वंचित समाज के लोगों, इस प्रदेश के नौजवानों ने एक तरफा निर्णय लिया था भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनाने के लिए कि शायद आने वाले दिन में हमें न्याय और सम्मान मिलेगा। 5 साल तक अपने सम्मान, पहचान और न्याय के लिए तड़पते रहे। सभी नेताओं से अपनी गुहार लगाता रहा कि शायद उनको न्याय मिलना चाहिए। इस तरह की स्थिति है।
Moments after Dara Singh Chauhan's resignation, Akhilesh Yadav tweeted a photo of him alongside the Lonia Rajput leader with a cheeky hashtag Mela Hobe.
उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता ने देखा है कि किस तरीके से नफरत की राजनीति हुई है, शोषण की राजनीति हुई है, लोग अपमानित हुए हैं। आज दारा सिंह चौहान जी भी समाजवादी पार्टी के साथ खड़े हो रहे हैं, तो मुझे खुशी है इस बात की कि पूरा उत्तर प्रदेश एक खुशहाली की पॉलिटिक्स करना चाहता है।
अब उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता ने तय कर लिया है कि यहाँ पे मेला होइबे, भाजपा का खेला होइबे और खदेड़ा होइबे।
Another day, another setback saw the BJP rush to try and appease Chauhan. On Tuesday, prominent OBC face of the BJP and Uttar Pradesh cabinet minister Swami Prasad Maurya had resigned. With less than a month to go for the elections, the unrest in party is worrying the BJP leaders.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी अपने आप को एक परिवार मानता है और हम सब उस परिवार के सदस्य हैं। तो एक मुखिया की तरह जैसे एनडीए के पार्टनर्स को लेकर वो चलते हैं, सभी अपने सदस्यों को भी संतुष्ट रखना पार्टी की नीति है। तो स्वाभाविक है अगर वो बात कर रहे होंगे तो जरूर कर रहे होंगे, क्योंकि खुद स्वामी प्रसाद मौर्य जी ने कहा कि उनके संपर्क में लोग हैं।
A day after his fiery exit, a 7-year-old case came back to haunt Maurya. With an arrest warrant being issued by a court, Maurya called it pure vindictiveness.
कोर्ट कचहरी भी है, हर चीज का मैं मुकाबला करूंगा। मैं भी हाई कोर्ट का एडवोकेट था। मैं हमेशा न्याय में विश्वास करता हूं, न्यायपालिका में विश्वास करता हूं। न्यायपालिका में मैं कभी वकालत भी करता था, इसलिए जो न्यायिक प्रक्रिया है मैं उस रास्ते से गुजरूंगा, उसका मैं सम्मान करता हूं।
Swami Prasad Maurya also sent out a warning to the BJP.
मैं बहुजन समाज पार्टी छोड़ा था, भारतीय जनता पार्टी में आया था। बहुत बड़ा जनाधार बहुजन समाज पार्टी से निकल कर मेरे साथ बहुजन समाज पार्टी से निकल करके भारतीय जनता पार्टी में गया था। वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी जो 14 साल वनवास झेली थी, रातों रात पहाड़ जैसी पार्टी बन गई। आज मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी अगर छोड़ा हूं तो जिस तरीके से मेरे छोड़ने के बाद आज बहुजन समाज पार्टी खत्म हो गई, उसी प्रकार से मेरे छोड़ने के बाद भारतीय जनता पार्टी का बनवास भी तय हो जाएगा।
After Maurya's exit, a string of resignations followed. MLAs Roshan Lal Verma, Bhagwati Singh Sagar, Brajesh Prajapati and Vinay Shakya also quit the BJP, and all four are likely to join the Samajwadi Party.
बीजेपी छोड़ दी आपने? छोड़ नहीं रहे, छोड़ दी है स्वामी प्रसाद जी के साथ।
सपा में जा रहे हैं?
बिल्कुल।
The resignations of Chauhan and Maurya are a big blow to the BJP. Both the leaders have a stronghold in the Purvanchal region, especially among OBCs and backward class. With Samarth Srivastav and Kumar Abhishek in Lucknow, Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's also get you all the political updates from Polban, Punjab. The Aam Aadmi Party is trying to ensure that they can make the most of the floating vote share in Punjab. But what comes as a huge dent to their prospect is the fact that they've not been able to seal any alliance with the farmer unions. The group, which is in fact the Sanyukt Samaj Morcha, they've made it very clear that there will be no alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party for the elections in Punjab. And this has meant that its trouble for Kejriwal could hurt the party's poll prospects.
The Aam Aadmi Party's Mission Punjab has suffered a setback. Farmers Union Sanyukt Samaj Morcha has ruled out an alliance with Aam Aadmi Party. A move that will definitely dent the chances of Arvind Kejriwal's party in the state. Kejriwal on Wednesday admitted the two could not reach a seat-sharing agreement, while the SSM demanded a lion's share of 60 seats. Aam Aadmi Party agreed to offer only 10 to 15.
राजेवाल साहब आए थे मेरे घर, उनसे बातचीत हुई थी। जिस दिन वो आए थे तब तक हम 90 टिकटें अनाउंस कर चुके थे अपनी। उन्होंने कहा कि हमें 60 टिकटें चाहिए, 60। वहां पे बात बनी नहीं। संयुक्त किसान समाज मोर्चा अगर अलग से लड़ता है तो डेफिनेटली आम आदमी पार्टी का कुछ ना कुछ तो वोट हटेगा।
According to sources, the SSM also objected to candidature of some AAP nominees. Political analysts say the SSM's decision to contest elections will divide the floating vote, which Aam Aadmi Party was aiming for.
Three-cornered मेन कॉन्टेस्ट है, मेन पार्टीज, और एक पार्टी जो है वो स्पॉइलर है, फार्मर्स की जो नई पार्टी बनी है, दैट विल बी ए मेगा स्पॉइलर फॉर जो ये मेजर मेन पार्टीज हैं उनके लिए। तो सबसे ज़्यादा उसका नुकसान शायद आम आदमी पार्टी को होगा।
The floating vote share in Punjab would be between 15 to 20%. In the previous state elections in 2017, Aam Aadmi Party had won 23.7% votes, while Congress got 38.5% and Akali Dal won 25.2%.
मुझे लगता है ये जो 16%, 15 से 20% वोट शेयर है वो हमेशा थर्ड अल्टरनेटिव की तलाश में रहता है, और अच्छी बात है, चेंज चाहता है, और उससे दूसरी पार्टियों पे प्रेशर भी बना रहता है कि उनको परफॉर्म करना पड़ेगा। और उस वोट बैंक के अब हिस्सेदारी जो है वो आम आदमी पार्टी की भी है, और इसमें हिस्सेदारी अब जो किसान यूनियन बनी है नई, जिन्होंने कहा है कि हम इलेक्शन लड़ेंगे, उनकी भी हिस्सेदारी उसमें होगी। तो उसमें अगर हम इन्फ्लुएंस करें, उसका इन्फ्लुएंस ड्रा करें, तो सबसे ज़्यादा उसका नुकसान शायद आम आदमी पार्टी को होगा।
Political analysts say the dent will be bigger in eastern and central Malwa region, which has the highest 69 seats and almost decides who rules the state. The SSM may now form an alliance with Gurnam Chaduni's Sanyukt Sangharsh Party. Together, they can impact the rural votes in all three major regions of Malwa, Majha and Doaba. The Congress, meanwhile, wrote off Aam Aadmi Party's prospects in Punjab.
मैं समझता हूं कि आम आदमी पार्टी का कोई इरादार है नहीं। मैं समझता हूं आम आदमी पार्टी बिखरी पड़ी है और इनको कोई भी इकट्ठा नहीं कर सकता।
The Aam Aadmi Party has suffered multiple blows in its fight to win Punjab. Other than their failure to stitch an alliance with farmer unions, Aam Aadmi Party has also been unable to name a CM face. With Manjeet Sehgal, Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's get you the latest updates this morning also on the infection rate and the third wave that's hit us here in India. And as always, it's the cities, the metros that are struggling to cope with this huge surge in COVID cases. Every single city right now, be it Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Bengaluru, Chennai, you're seeing a number of infections being reported on a daily basis. Let's start with Delhi first, where unfortunately we've reported over 25,000 cases. To be exact, 27,561 cases have been reported in the last 24 hours, which means that the positivity rate has jumped now to 26.22%. That's the highest it's been since May. The capital also recorded 40 deaths in the last 24 hours. Delhi Health Minister Satyendra Jain, meanwhile, has assured that if COVID cases come down in 2 to 3 days, some of the restrictions will then be lifted. Maharashtra, meanwhile, has reported over 46,000 new COVID cases, taking the state's positivity rate to a little over 21% now. Mumbai, that it's in a dip in its daily cases for 4 consecutive days, logged 16,420 cases. The COVID situation in the city of Joy, Kolkata, is grim. Despite a partial lockdown, the infection rate continues to go up. Over 7,000 infections were reported. There's a marginal dip in the positivity rate from 32.35% to 30.86%. In Chennai, the cases are continuing to show an upward trend. Chennai recorded 7,372 new cases and 19 deaths in the last 24 hours. Bengaluru has reported over 15,000 infections in the last 24 hours. The BBMP has issued a COVID helpline number that's functional 24/7.
इन्फेक्शन का स्प्रेड अधिक दिख रहा है और दूसरा उसी के साथ ही अधिक संख्या में केसेस भी रिपोर्ट हो रहे हैं, जैसे कि महाराष्ट्र में जहां 0.87% केस पॉजिटिविटी 22 दिसंबर वाले हफ्ते में थी, वह बढ़कर अब 22.39% हो गई है और उसी के साथ ही ओवरऑल वीकली बेसिस पर केसेस भी 2,57,000 के करीब हुए हैं। इसी तरह वेस्ट बंगाल में 1.52% से केस पॉजिटिविटी बढ़कर अब 32.18% हुई है और अधिक संख्या में केसेस भी रिपोर्ट हो रहे हैं। दिल्ली में भी इसी तरीके से 0.19 केस पॉजिटिविटी अब बढ़कर 23.1% यानी कि हाई स्प्रेड ऑफ इन्फेक्शन दिखाई देता है। तमिलनाडु में भी इसी तरीके से 10.9%, कर्नाटका में 7.78%, यूपी में 0.03% पॉजिटिविटी अब बढ़कर 4.74% की तरफ जाते हुए दिखाई देती है। केरला में भी इसी तरह 6.29% केस पॉजिटिविटी जो कि एक माह पहले थी, वहां पर अब 11.3% केस पॉजिटिविटी और गुजरात में 7.56% केस पॉजिटिविटी नोट की जा रही है।
A day after showing a small dip in COVID cases, here comes the surge. India has recorded over 1,94,000 cases in the past 24 hours. The daily positivity rate has crossed 11%. High positivity rate in some states is a cause for concern. According to the centre, Maharashtra has a positivity rate of 22.39%, West Bengal 32.18% and Delhi 23.1%. And in poll-bound Uttar Pradesh, the rate has jumped to 4.47%. Amidst the huge surge in COVID infections, the Indian Council of Medical Research has eased testing criteria. Now you don't need to test if you are asymptomatic or in contact with a confirmed case but have no symptoms or have been discharged from home isolation or COVID facility. The government, however, has cautioned people against treating Omicron as common cold, urged everyone to get vaccinated.
ओमिक्रॉन इज़ नॉट कॉमन कोल्ड। सोसाइटी की जिम्मेवारी है कि इसको स्लो करें, इंडिविजुअल की जिम्मेवारी है कि अपनी प्रोटेक्शन करें मास्क से, फैमिली की प्रोटेक्शन करें मास्क लगा के और प्रोटेक्शन करें वैक्सीन लेके जो भी छूटे हैं, जिनको भी ड्यू है। द फैक्ट रिमेन्स दैट वैक्सीनेशन इज आवर a very important, crucial, critical pillar.
Mumbai has seen a dip in its daily tally for 4 consecutive days before rising on Wednesday. Experts believe the curve may have flattened in the maximum city.
तो एंडेमिक होने की संभावना अप्रैल से जुलाई तक बहुत ज्यादा है। मैं आशावादी हूं कि हमको कोविड, जैसे हम डेंगू मलेरिया या नॉर्मल फ्लू देखते हैं, वैसे ही उसकी ट्रीटमेंट जून जुलाई से होगी और इसकी संभावना बहुत ज्यादा है।
Many experts had earlier said India will reach the peak soon.
India had such a terrible Delta wave. That combined with vaccination efforts suggests that there's quite a bit of immunity in India that will provide some protection against Omicron. So what we expect to happen is lots and lots of Omicron infections, reaching a peak in the end of January or first week of February.
The big surge so far has been noticeable in big metros. The question remains, how long will it take for the third wave to peak across India? Is the worst yet to come, or are we past it? Bureau Report, India Today.
And another story that we'll be tracking very closely today is that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to be holding a crucial COVID virtual meet. This is a review meet with chief ministers, and that meeting will be happening at 4:30 today. The Prime Minister almost every week has been holding review meets to ensure that we're fully prepared to deal with this third wave and any eventuality that it brings. Now, during his previous COVID meet on Sunday, the Prime Minister had outlined his battle plan to fight COVID. In fact, he had laid stress on ensuring adequate health infrastructure at the district level. This meeting comes at a time when the centre has designated 8 states as areas of concern due to uninterrupted COVID cases surging. Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Bengal, Karnataka, Gujarat are among the 8 states where cases have been continuously rising. Now, for the last few days in the state of Karnataka, we've been seeing the Congress, amid the third wave, mind you, hold these massive protests, this Padayatra, with thousands of Congress workers coming together. No steps by the administration has helped, but with the Karnataka High Court now stepping in and pulling up the government has finally decided to act tough and crack the whip, invoking the Disaster Management Act to make it clear that this kind of a protest will not be allowed. But get set for a showdown, because the Congress has made it very clear that they will not stop their Padayatra come vote may.
A Padayatra amid a COVID wave. A super spreader march allowed to go on for too long. And those leading this yatra looking visibly unwell as they cough and sneeze unmasked in public. The Karnataka Congress leadership remains defiant and won't test for COVID. Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee Chief D.K. Shivakumar has been endangering lives for over 4 days now. Even children haven't been spared. This when many Congress netas themselves are testing positive. Seen here is Congress MLA Shivashankar Reddy with D.K. Shivakumar. Reddy tested positive for COVID on Tuesday.
Mr. ADC, ನನಗೆ I'm fit, fine. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? You can't compel me. I know the law of this land. You tell your Home Minister, I'm perfect. ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನೋ ಹೆಲ್ತ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. Home Ministerಗೋ, Health Ministerಗೋ, Chief Ministerಗೋ.
The Karnataka government has issued several warnings to Congress workers to stop their yatra. The Karnataka High Court has stepped in, asking the state government to inform it by January the 14th whether any permission was sought for Mekadatu Padayatra. After the High Court wrap, the Karnataka government is applying brakes on the Padayatra by invoking the Disaster Management Act. It has banned vehicular movement of Padayatra participants.
ನೋಡಿ, ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅದು ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ನಾವು ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ FIR ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. 3-4 FIRಗಳು ಬಿದ್ದಿದೆ ಈಗಾಗಲೇ. ಒಂದರಲ್ಲಿ 33 ಜನ, ಒಂದರಲ್ಲಿ 41 ಜನ ಮತ್ತು ಇತರೆಯವರು, ನಿನ್ನೆದರಲ್ಲಿ 61 ಜನ ಮತ್ತು ಇತರೆಯವರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಬಿದ್ದಿದೆ. ಅವನ ಕೇಸನ್ನ ಟೈಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಕೋವಿಡ್-19 ಹರಡದಿದ್ದ ಹಾಗೆ ತಡೆಯುವಂತಹದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ಬದ್ಧತೆ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ನವರಿಗೆ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ವಿ.
Karnataka is reeling under the COVID upsurge with 21,000 cases in one day and nearly 1 lakh active cases. But the Congress has refused to call off the march so far, saying the Padyatra will go on.
ನಾಳೆ ಪಾದಯಾತ್ರೆ ನಡೆಸ್ತೀವಿ. 14ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ಕೋರ್ಟ್ನವ್ರು ಏನು ಆದೇಶ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡೋಣ. 14th ಕೇಸ್ ಹೋಗಿದೆ. 14th ಏನು ಆದೇಶ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡೋಣ. ನಾಳೆ ಅಂತೂ ಪಾದಯಾತ್ರೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ.
ಕೋರ್ಟ್ನವರು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮಾರ್ಗಸೂಚಿ ಉಲ್ಲಂಘನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ನೀವೇನು ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ?
ಅದು ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಳಿರೋದು, ನಮಗಲ್ಲ. ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು.
ಸರ್, ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಏನೋ ಬೇಡ ನೀವು ಪಾದಯಾತ್ರೆ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತೀರಾ ಸರ್?
ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಆದೇಶ ಗೌರವಿಸ್ತೀವಿ.
Will the netas who continue to put their personal interests over citizen safety now face the law? Bureau Report, India Today.
Welcome back. Let's get you all the details of day 2 of the final test between India and South Africa. India made a strong comeback thanks to the antics of Jasprit Bumrah, who picked up, in fact, his 7th 5-wicket haul to help India bowl out South Africa for 210. So that meant that there was a crucial 13-run lead. That lead extended further with Virat Kohli and Pujara at the crease.
Second ball of the day and Aiden Markram's off stump was uprooted by Jasprit Bumrah. Just the start India needed.
Back a long way and has just hit that off stump really hard.
Umesh Yadav then breached night watchman Keshav Maharaj's defence and India had South Africa 100 for 3 at lunch. Keegan Peterson once again proved to be a thorn in the flesh for the Indians, even as the Pacers kept a tight leash on the other Proteas batsmen. Rassie van der Dusen and Peterson provided some relief to the South African batting before Umesh Yadav sent the former back.
There's an edge and a wicket. Yadav deserved that. He's bowled really nicely to van der Dusen.
When Virat Kohli took a brilliant catch of Shami to get rid of Temba Bavuma, South Africa had half their side gone for 159. And a ball later, Shami made it 6 down.
Oh, Mohamed Shami! A great bowling change and a fabulous spell.
Indian Pacers were relentless and fittingly, Bumrah wrapped up the South African innings with a 5-wicket haul to hand India a crucial 13-run lead.
And South Africa all out now for 210.
In reply, India also began poorly. First Mayank Agarwal and then KL Rahul. Both the openers were back in the dressing room inside the first 6 overs.
Double strike. And when you get KL Rahul, you feel mighty good about things.
But Virat Kohli and Cheteshwar Pujara ensured there were no further hiccups as India ended the day at 57 for 2, a lead of 70 runs. Sports Bureau, India Today.
And you can catch all the live updates on the test match and much more on our website indiatoday.in. Do also download the India Today app. I'm slipping into a short break here on First Up. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day ahead.